I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jesse.
We're Cannabis School. Having cannabis-infused conversations
With everyday people,
cannabis companies,
celebrities,
and your mom.
welcome to the sesh.
That was tonight, or this morning, after we went on a ride. And after we finally get going, after I tipped the bike twice, we're riding, and I'm just shaking my head. And Emily calls me. She's behind me, and she's like, I can hear she's choking up.
Well, what's going on?
Because she's thinking that she's done something wrong.
Oh.
And that's why I'm shaking my head.
Oh,
and I was like, no. I was like, this is all my ego. My ego had such a shattering of like, fuck, I've ridden 36,000 miles at least on motorcycles with passengers a fuck ton of that time, with Emily a fuck ton of that time. This bike is lighter than my last bike. I just tipped it over twice on the street without really going, it wasn't too tall. It wasn't like I couldn't set my foot down or something slipped. It was just,
oh man.
And I was like, so I was shaking my head at my ego, just going, it doesn't matter that I've ridden 36,000 miles on a motorcycle. It doesn't matter that I feel confident in this. I can still tip over my bike in the street with no apparent reason, nothing of like, oh man, that. And I was like, so I was disappointed in myself, just shaking my head going, man, I know better. Like, I feel like I should be riding better than that at this.
Isn't that funny? Because we all have these pre-written scripts because somebody said something to us a long time ago. And so we relive that every single time when we judge that others are judging us. So when we walk around with this perpetual idea of not good enough, not great enough, we tend to do that to others too. Yeah. We tend to go, well, this isn't like this, and that's not like this, and it's not fair. And it gets down to that equality thing that we fight with. Equality is a figment of our imagination, because it's, if I don't feel good about who I am, that kind of emanates out to others.
Always.
And then when you're like super positive, no matter what, because it reminded me, like, this is a random memory, but growing up, Orem is not like the hood by any means, but you've got a lot of...
It's Family City, USA. Like,
yes.
It's been, in comparison to like any other major area, the safety in Orem has been pretty top notch.
Yeah,
I would say.
But the thing is I got in street fights all the time growing up. But I didn't grow up in the nicer areas of Orem, right? I grew up in the lower income, which is typically crime-ridden.
Yeah, the boulders of Orem.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
It was, you knew in Provo, hey, boulders is where if someone's going to get shot or stabbed or the police are called, like, it's probably going to be at the boulders.
Right. It used to be across the tracks down south, right? Now it's like they fucking came in and deuced that whole area of the city. Yeah. Now it's all nice looking because the fucking...
Now they changed it so
I know,
much.
It looks nice. It's totally different, but anyways...
Growing up, lots of fights.
But the... Oh, shit, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, but growing up and where I was at, I mean, you've got... This is the late 80s, early 90s. And then the 90s, like, kicking off where gangster rap starts hitting.
Oh, yeah. I loved 90s rap.
Oh, dude.
Oh, my God.
It's still top.
That's where I started listening to it. I got my first radio in 6th grade, and I found U92, and oh, my God, that's where I lived for the longest time.
Dude, it was trying to convince my parents to let me buy Dr. Dre's Chronic.
Oh my gosh.
Right? My parents were my mom didn't know, because at the time I was just like, I'd been doing a bunch of stuff. I didn't really have a job or anything like that. My mom's like, yeah, I'll get you that. And then she sees a parental advisor. She goes, what is this? I'm like, oh, they say some bad words, but not a lot. It's like just straight up, just everything. And I'm listening to this in my fucking Discman while I'm walking around. Right?
Yeah, I remember Discmans were dope. My first one did not have anti-skip, so I was like holding it so sacred.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, it's like a big metal coffin.
I got a cassette. All of my stuff growing up when I was super young came from the DI box from Harmony Square. Because there was no way my parents were going to buy me a radio. They weren't going to buy me a Walkman. But if someone was donating that to DI and we were going to take it there, like, sure. My mom's like, oh, yeah, you can have that. I'm like, oh, my God. my first radio, my first cassette tape. Like, I got my first Walkman and that, and I was in 7th grade and had a Walkman. I was like, oh, this is dope. Because
yeah. It was cool, though, man. I remember going to Media Play. Do you remember that store, Media Play?
Circuit City,
yeah, on the road. That's where Sprouts is now, right?
Isn't that such a weird throwback?
Dude, every time I go, remember those big, giant, like, fucking metallic balls out front?
Yes, dude.
Oh, that's fucking funny, dude.
I don't know. If you guys grow up in the same area for your entire life, you notice a ton of changes, I would guess.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're like 10 years old, and then maybe not so much, and turn off the show if that's your age.
Dude, I remember these things that it was, but during that time, man, it was just like a really, like, I grew up with quite a bit of violence. And so I was really accustomed to that.
Yeah, but you experienced a lot of hatred.
I didn't know it at the time.
No, you didn't realize, but it was just unprovoked, unnecessary hatred of just...
Yeah. Dude, seriously, like, I remember one distinct morning, there was Jack, David, and Brett, and we were playing Contra, you know, up, down, left, right, BA, select, start. You didn't
know,
do that.
no, I was like, I know that name sounds familiar, but I have no idea what it is. I couldn't
Contra is this, like, 2-player game of you're these army dudes.
What system was that on?
Nintendo, original NES.
Okay.
And
yeah,
so
I didn't have one of
just
those.
run... Right. That's it. Like, that's the only direct. You can go left. That's backwards, but the screen is coming.
Scroller.
Yeah,
okay.
but the screen's chasing
like
you.
Mario.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and you're shooting. And you go through all these levels since that one, but you only have 3 lives when you start out. And if
Okay.
you're dead, you're dead.
Yeah.
But if you do this secret code, you go up, down, left, right, BA, and then you push select to push 2 players, start, then you both start with 50 lives. So that was like the thing. And there's Saturday mornings where we would play this for hours at my buddy's house, all of us taking turns. Like, it was never like, no, it's mine. It was just like,
You just
oh, shit,
yeah. It was
here
like,
you go.
oh, I died. Here you go. Yeah, you just switched.
But we were playing and something happened. It was Life Force. Yeah, that's it. It's like Contra except with spaceships now. That's no different. It's just spaceships instead of dudes. And something happened to where I messed up and I died. It was the last one. And the kid just goes, you know, dude, you're so fucking stupid. And I'm like, oh, what's that about? And I stood up and he pushes me and he goes, sit down, you stupid spick. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know what that meant at the time.
Yeah.
So when I got back up, I shoved him back. And then the brothers got in and separated us. And I'm like, what the hell? And then there were these kids or my friends. They would make fun of my dad all the time. He's a stupid Mexican. And I couldn't understand what was going on, but the thing
Isn't that fucking weird. My friends, 8th grade, last day of school, picked me up and threw me in the garbage. Like, kids are just assholes sometimes.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know,
it got me to the point, like, because I was bullied. I was bullied when I was a little kid, and my dad's like, nope, he cleaned toilets at night to pay for my martial arts training.
Yeah.
And I excelled really quickly, and then within 3 to 4 months, the school's getting calls to my parents saying your son fought this kid and beat him up, fought this kid and beat him up. My parents had to finally, like, after the 4th time being called within a few months, they're like, hey, you have to stop doing this. But I didn't like when somebody else was either trying to make me feel bad or make others feel bad. It was mostly others.
I hated when people got picked on because I felt like I got picked on a lot growing up. I'm still a little guy, but I was always really little, and I had a lot of energy. I was this hyper little kid. Yeah. So, of course, I got all sorts of shit, but I hated when other people would do it. There was a kid in 1st grade, only kid I ever remember punching at school. I punched him in the face and gave him a bloody nose because he wouldn't leave these girls alone. And I told him to leave him alone, and he wouldn't do it. So I punched him in the face once, and I had to sit on the bench for the rest of recess. But I'm not normally a violent person. I was just...
No, but dude, that's the thing. The idea of you can solve everything non-violently. Sometimes you can't, because
most things
you can, and
there is always, unfortunately, a space for violence where it is necessary.
Growing up, fisticuffs, like half of the fights that I got into, I was friends with the kids after. Like, I mean, it didn't go far because we would realize either that we were equal and then we would stop and become friends. I remember fights I got in the Navy where, yeah, we became friends after.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, oh, there was a disagreement. But I know you're not going to back down. And I need to know somebody, like, because that was my mentality. My dad had always put in my head, like, you got to do this. He couldn't do all the things I could, but he saw that I could, and I excelled at that.
So he pushed you into...
Oh, no, I loved it.
Yeah.
But I was so, like, ADHD that I would never practice, and my dad thought I wasn't doing anything. And then he would come to my belt test, and he would see me just go through all of it real quickly, and then breaking boards and shit. That's and funny. he would tell my mom, he's like, I don't think he practiced. He never practiced it at home. But I was practicing in my mind all the time. And so I could see the movements.
Well, they talk about that with like athletes or racers or that you can replay or go through the track, the movement, whatever it is in your mind. And that actually is almost as effective as doing the motion itself. And that helps still train your body, your mind to do those types of things. Yeah. I think that's what helps me when I've ridden a lot. Not this morning, obviously, but like is when I'm riding, I have lived and thought through so many instances of here, this slips here, this does this. What do I do? Like, how does my body? And I live the moment in my mind, and then it happens. And it, like, I go through that same exact, but it's muscle memory. It's weird because it's not something that I'm thinking about actively. It's like slowing down in that moment, yes, but like it is not something that I'm like, hey, I'm planning at this very second for this to happen. It's like, okay, I'm going, all right, this happened. Okay, my body just naturally does it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny that you brought that up because I was thinking, I've got one of my oldest son now finally just came to me and says, Dad, I need to learn how to do it. And I'm like, okay, why? Do you have some conflict going on?
What is his concern?
Yeah, and because typically that's where...
That he's not feeling safe enough that he needs to protect something or someone. Or...
And he's like, no. He's like, I don't know what it is. And I said, you feel protective? And he goes, yeah. He's like, but I also...
Is that...
No, he just feels protective of like his siblings, of his family, and his girlfriend, of course. But he's just like, he's a peaceful guy. He doesn't want to go to violence.
You can be protective and be peaceful.
Right. But he's just like, I know my limitations. So what, are you thinking about that day when we got into a little scuffle in the kitchen? He goes, yeah. He's like, because I thought, I'm taller than you.
That doesn't mean shit.
And but when you're young, you think it does,
you think
right?
it is everything.
And so he's like, when you grabbed onto my arms, and then I grabbed around your head, you just dumped me to the ground, and all the wind left me, and then and then I was like hitting you, and you just kind of tucked your head, and you said, "Hey, knock it off." You were like so calm, and I was like, "Yeah," and I said, because this is muscle memory for me.
Yeah,
I don't worry about getting hit at this moment. All I know is I'm in control. And I said, dude, if I really wanted to, I would go through you pretty quickly, but I realized that I was upset.
That's the difference in mastery and those trying to. As I'm thinking about it, it is like, it's the...
Well, it's just like with your bike. Yeah. That's why you're so frustrated, because you've been riding for so long, like there's no way.
Oh, but I know it happens, but it was just the frustration of like, man, even after all of this, like, I still tipped over my bike.
But you said something, though. You were like, I need to get stronger.
But it's also in those moments when I am tense. So I geared up this morning. I put on my jacket, but I was like, oh, maybe going up the canyon, I'm going to put on the underlayment, because when I'm going 50, 60 miles an hour, it's a little chilly underneath. So if I have that, it'll keep me warm once I'm going. But the problem was we had 8 minutes standing in the sun, prepping, getting ready. I'm sweaty as fuck. I'm hot. I'm toasty. All of this happens, and I'm not relaxed. A lot of the videos that I'm like even watching on everything, it's like, oh yeah, if you're up like this, all of this, your response isn't the same. If you are relaxed, you're loose, you're in control. Yeah, it's the mastery of like the thing. You're not tense. You're not like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I've done this a million times. I know what I'm doing. I don't need to stress. This moment is okay.
But you also have to give yourself a little bit of clemency here, man, because you haven't been driving for years.
4 years.
4 years.
I have not been
Yeah.
riding.
And I thought about that because since I've been training with my kids, and my speed is coming back way faster than I thought. But the thing that is what I started remembering is that what my Sifu had taught me and some of the things they made me do, it seemed really hokey at the time, but you would go to the third stage, and third stage was blind fighting. And so you
push yourself.
First stage, you're learning some of the movements. Second stage, you're learning how to move your feet with those movements.
Okay, yes.
And then the third stage, you are blindfolded for months. So your training partner and you will start out with what's called paksao. So they'll punch and you'll slap right here. And you'll control the hand where you're going center line. But it was a really, like the way they taught it was really kind of passive. I've seen some other Wing Chun that's like a little bit more aggressive, and I like it because it goes into them right away. It doesn't sit there and going, ha, 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 ha. And that's how it felt when I was doing training.
Yeah.
But when you were blindfolded and you were doing this repetitive moment, because you lost one sense, the other senses became so heightened awareness.
Yeah.
So when proximity, like I feel proximity way, way sooner do I feel a person before they're close enough to me to hit from this. It was 6 months blindfolded every Tuesday and Thursday for at least an hour and a half.
That's wild. That's a long time to
but it was cool
train your senses.
Because you'd be doing this, now it's a pointless drill, but it made you more aware. So I was like, oh, okay, because I created other drills later on. But it was cool because you'd be going through and they're throwing punches at you and you knew where it was.
Yeah.
You go, fuck. And so later on, I turn into that meme from Family Guy where they go and the ninja guy, where his wife comes over and hugs him from behind. He goes, whack! He goes, honey, sorry, I told you not to sneak up on me. Right? He's making fun of the martial arts dudes who were constantly doing this. That was me. That's for hilarious. Real. But when my buddy's house, his wife thought it'd be funny to scare me when I was coming into the room and it was dark. And she goes, blah! And I grabbed her by the throat and I had my hand back ready to fucking punch her, but I had to verify. And I was just but I had her, and it wasn't a nice grab. It was one of those grabs of intent to kill. And it terrified her of me for a good week. Well, she was freaked out.
But you can't, that was the problem. When I used to carry and I used to go shoot all the time and stuff, and I had a safe right by my side of the bed, I told friends, I was like, don't fuck with me. Don't try and sneak in the night or think it's going to be a funny prank. I clear my house. I clear with the intent to shoot someone. Yeah. Do not come into my house because I sleep lightly. I will hear that and go clear my house. I have done it a million times with going, I am ready at this moment to shoot someone because I've got a family that I'm protecting. I don't want to shoot someone, but in this moment, it's my family's safety or whoever the fuck decided to break into my home. It's that same thing of you don't sneak up on someone in that type of thing. You don't put them in that state of hey, they don't know yet.
Yeah, that's where pressure testing comes into, because that's one of the, we had Richard Dimitri on here. And he was a martial arts legend for me. Oh, yeah. And still is. Episode. He's a super cool guy.
Him and Pam, I can't name. Yeah. But yeah, they're social media friends too, and great people.
Yeah, they're retired now out of that space completely.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I think that's super cool, and even though Rich and I can have differences of opinions about different, whatever, social, political, whatever, the cool thing is the way that he thinks is the way that I think. And you go back to old videos on YouTube, and these training videos aren't, okay, you punch and then I'm going to grab your shirt, okay, hold still, and
it's a whole different.
It's full speed, full force. And
he was the world's deadliest man or something for a while. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's nuts. But he is completely different now.
100%.
He avoids conflict because he used to go towards it.
And he was I've realized that you can disarm a conflict so much easier through all of these other techniques. And him and Pam go and teach those now to help people go, hey, you can kind of disarm a lot of these conflicts instead of getting into these extreme altercations.
And that's the hard thing for Rich, because his life has all been violence. I mean, he
I can
started with
imagine.
one of the biggest names in self-protection, Tony Blauer,
You
in the
go
spear
from
system.
the world's deadliest person to teaching people how to defuse situations without physical altercation.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a whole different shift. Like, that's
Dude,
wild.
but it's from years of decluttering.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's where,
He's got to have worked a ton of shit.
well, martial arts is kind of like life in general, like when we learn things, such as like a job, right? Like I've got an insurance license, but I'm not looking for insurance jobs. And the reason why is because I know that I don't enjoy it. I know that I don't feel like I'm getting out. So I'm like, oh, I'm looking for customer success roles, like customer success manager. Like, dude, I will take over the department. I will make these people empathetic monsters. I will retain and I was like, not for that fact, just winning a client over is happier for me than whatever bonus structure.
All it is a relationship.
100%. And that feeds my need.
Yeah. So if you can navigate maintaining a relationship and building that,
100%.
that's all you need.
And that's the thing that I think about now, where I'm like, because of this new mastery I have been working on, and how that's brought a lot of this relief in many ways, because I realize that I walk around with all this tension because I'm carrying it around. And it's the same way of training in martial arts, where you're constantly training for this fictitious fight that is coming up, instead of thinking, going, I'm using these movements because it creates a proximity awareness.
It's like a meditative flow. That's what I would picture.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's
and
a
you
game.
can put yourself in a meditative, very aware state.
Oh, yeah.
So where that you are not, we live in a constant distractible world. We are easily hyper distractible humans going, hey, it's like meditation, yoga, martial arts. It's these ways of connecting with your body to go, hey, bring your presence back to here.
Yeah, dude, there's something with like
You know?
80s karate dudes.
Yeah.
Like those guys, there was something way different about them. Like you never fucked with a guy like that because the training was harder. And that's everybody goes towards MMA now. And it's great, dude. Like athletes, they are on another level of martial artists. It is insane, but it's also highly unrealistic to train in anything like that. Because what is the purpose? Are you training for sport? Are you training for art? Or are you training for protection? They're all three different things. And
100%.
like Rich teaches here, this is proximity awareness. He would teach all these pre-contact cues, but everybody wanted to go to Rich for dynamic stuff. Teach me your shredder. He hated the name the shredder because of that. He even said on the show, he goes, I hate it because it wasn't it wasn't the intent. He goes, I was just trying to keep him away from me. And then he started developing this whole system. And then all of a sudden everybody, that's all they wanted to go for him. And he has a time where he was like, okay, I need to make a change because I noticed that there's some things in my life. He had multiple failed relationships. He had a son, but the relationship didn't work out with the mom. So it was constant. And then he always kept looking for violence at one point, very similar to me. And then now he shifts over here where he's like, fuck, I need to slow down and I need to chill out. And he had a friend who became a partner because he had come to one of Rich's seminars. And he was a lifelong martial artist. And you see him and he's a goofy looking dude. But he's,
I mean, have you seen me?
But dude, no, I mean, he's always really weird and goofy, sounds funny, but he's very good at what he does. And Rich just gave him his company. He's like, here.
Wow.
They turned it from Shin to Safe International. And this guy goes all over Canada teaching women how to fight.
I have a question, and this is all thanks to marijuana.
Yes.
I missed whatever initial comment, but I did see on our show we got a secondary comment complaining that apparently we flagged an initial comment from them, and then it sounded like they were commenting on the fact that maybe I need to take tea because the vocal range that I express is not pleasant to them, potentially. Is that what I'm gathering? Did you see the initial comment? Was that correct?
Dude, I didn't even see that. Oh, my God.
All I saw was a secondary comment going, what was it? Oh, let me pull it up. Oh,
That's
we have
hilarious.
this ability. I love. We have the technology.
I'm not on tea anymore, and it's kind of taking a little bit of my energy. It sucks.
There was a comment about something about like needing to take tea, and I thought it was about. Let's see. It just made me laugh. Oh, you guys reported my comment. You really know nothing about growing. That boy needs to start taking some testosterone so his voice drops a little.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I thought it was hilarious. I was like, bro, if the tone of a voice is bothering you here, I'm going to make a bold claim. This isn't the show for you.
Oh, well. Sorry, dude.
But I thought it was quite funny. I'm like, I wonder what the initial comment was. And I was curious if you had seen it because I didn't see it. Maybe Spotify auto-flagged it because it was an asshole comment, potentially.
I don't know. I didn't even know it got flagged.
Me either. I had no idea.
I don't do that. I don't care. If you can say whatever you want.
I don't think we've had to flag anything.
So I wonder that, though, dude. Like, talking about that.
I wonder if it was Spotify that auto-flagged, if it was like some super offensive words that were used. I honestly don't know.
I don't think so. I think they monitor for, like, negativity and shit like that.
So maybe that's what it was hyper negative, that they were like, hey, we're going to... Because if you didn't flag it, I didn't flag it. So I just thought it was quite funny.
I don't even know how to do that. All I know is the like button and a reply.
Yeah, I just comment on them.
That's what I usually do. I reply in something really nice and saying, have a good day.
I just thought it was funny. I was like, bro, if that's the issue, I don't think this is the show for you.
Hey,
like,
and that's okay. That kind of, I've let go of that. Like, I've talked to other podcasters and they go, man, I hate negative comments. I'm like, I don't care. I think of that one scene in Mad Men where there's guy going down the elevator with Dawn, and he's like, "Oh, I pity you."
He's like, "Oh, I don't even think about you."
Yeah, walks right out, and it's like, that's the thing. Like, I don't care.
That's what I realized. Like, hatred, negative, whatever it is, that's me choosing to give another human that obviously I don't care about my energy, which is precious. I'd rather not fucking even think about them because they're not worth my time.
Yeah.
Why would I give my energy to someone that I don't value? Why wouldn't I give it to someone else who I'm like, yeah, I can think about anything else. Why would I choose to diminish my life and my quality of life to think about someone that brings me nothing but misery?
Right. No, dude, it's been funny because I've actually been doing this weird filtering thing with my social media.
Filtering how?
So stuff that I consistently watch, I will like, I'm interested in this one. I'll like them, stuff like that. If I don't like anything about the message, like if it's negative, divisive, I start getting rid of it. If it's archaeology, ooh, I like that. Okay. Aliens, I like that shit, right?
So you are crafting your algorithm.
And then what I do, this has been the biggest thing. If anybody that I know is purposely trying to fucking stir the pot to get a fight going on, I just unfriend them. Novel.
See, what I'll do with those often, if I see it, I will still have the friend, but I just go, show less. I don't need to see everything they have.
Well, and it's depending on who they are.
That's more of what it is. There's some that I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I'm done. Like, I don't need your shit. That's okay.
Well, and I've never met
There's
the
no
person.
value. There's nothing, no interaction here. I'm not missing anything. But when it's like close people, I'm like, it's like, so I'm not religious. When I have friends who 90% of their posts are God, 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 religious this, religious that, I'm like, hey, I love you. I care about you. I don't need to see all of this. And I go, show less. Because that's not what I'm there for. It's not that I need to comment or have anything, not that I want to get them out of my life, but like, I'm not here to have my algorithm full of this. I hate the hatred stuff too. So it's like Emily, when she's going through, she's like, there's certain nights she's like, man, my algorithm sucks. So then she just tries to scroll and find other funny things or different things to go, I wish it would fix itself because for some weird reason tonight, it's on a really shitty roll and I've got just plain garbage that I don't want to see.
Yeah, I had to shift mine too. But isn't that funny, man? Like, we realize that the negativity in our world comes from inside. It comes from inside.
It's the energy we choose to give it.
Yeah, because this is the same as having no emotion going down a bike trail because you're just following the trail. You're not mad at the trail.
I actually had ecstatic emotion on my rides because it was just so much happiness.
Yes, but
and
that's
so
what I'm
much
saying.
joy, but there was no tension.
No tension. It's just you're
Pure
in the
bliss.
moment.
Yes.
Right? And it's when these moments where we can kind of just like going, why am I upset with this? Right? I mean, I know I quote Joe Rogan's stand-up. Yeah,
right?
but I mean, seriously, just fucking carpet bomb fucking cities where they're having violence with chronic smoke and then bring in food trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, not in any way, because when you start to be able to realize that both of you just have same problem, just different circumstances.
Same shit, different story.
Things start fucking leveling out, man. Like this kid in my neighborhood, he's a good kid. His mom's dying. She's got kidney failure. She's doing dialysis all the time, and she's always in the hospital. And so his younger brother, he's like really strong with, but he's in Kim's system. He's a diamond, so he's extremely hyper aware of himself.
So like Steph.
Yes, very much like Steph. Very clean, very orderly, very judgmental of himself and others. His life has always been taught, what's in it for me? So he's like, one Sunday we see each other at church, and he's like, hey, I had this idea for like a car wash. Like I do detailing and stuff. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, I've got all this stuff. I do like ceramic coatings and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
And I was like, so you want to do that as a business? I'm like, well, what's the goal? And he goes, well, I want to be a mechanical engineer because I want to design cars. And I'm like, that's cool, dude. And I'm like, so this isn't a company you want to build. This is a lifestyle. Is you want to save money and be able to have enough to probably put into building out a car. I said, do you have any mechanical expertise whatsoever? And he goes, none. I'm like, awesome. Good for you. And so we talk about that for a while. And I said, hey, here's some ideas. And he's like, cool, man. I thank you for this time. And I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. And he goes, hey, I got another question. Some stuff's going on in my car. And I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go take a look. And he tried to he took his air intake. He took it off, and then when he put it on, he tightened it too tight. He stripped the heads.
Oh, dang.
To the block. It bolts to the block.
Oh, no. So you have to use a thing, try and get it out, and reverse them.
Yeah, you just have to rethread it.
Use a tool. Yeah.
And I've got a whole kit for rethreading, but I was just like, all right, dude, give you some cowboy ingenuity here. So I took these zip ties, and I chained them, hooked it to the frame, and just tightened it all down, and snip, snip, snip. And I'm like, there, no more vibration.
Speaking of fucking zip ties, so I went on a 800-mile motorcycle road trip this last week.
Yeah, that was cool.
All over southern Utah on that. I will post videos. You guys will see. But on that trip, I got a top box, which is basically a box on the back of the bike where you can store shit. And the brackets, mounting brackets that it came with, apparently were not super great. I had to stop and tighten the box 3 times on this trip. Finally,
you get Loctite.
Well, so yeah, I would, but the problem was it's not just the Loctite, it's the metal. As I was tightening, it would bend a little bit more every time, I think. So I was like, well, what can I do? So I went to Home Depot and I bought hose clamps, metal hose clamps. And I'm like, oh, I'll put several of these through this and hook it up. And then I decided to go on my first adventure ride on this like 17-mile dirt road. And as you know, I tipped it over in a corner that was sandy, dirty, and I went down and just tipped it over going real slow. But after that, the back top box again was a little bit loose. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, well, I guess hose clamps aren't really heavy duty. They're not crazy strong. They're just metal. So I took those off, and I had been watching these adventure motorcycle riding YouTube videos. And this dude had a rear tire that wasn't sealing all the way. And they're riding in dirt and rocks on backcountry for hundreds of miles. And they're like, shit, if this doesn't seed, like, we're going to have issues. It could pop. Like, this is going to suck. So they got these industrial strength zip ties and zip tied all the way around the tire with probably 20 of them. He rode that bitch for like 100 and something miles through the rocks and dirt, and it held. So I went on Amazon and I bought these heavy duty zip ties. Each one is supposed to hold 400 pounds.
Oh yeah, dude, that never go anywhere.
I put like 8 of those fuckers on, and I was like, all right, this shit's not going. And I was like, yeah, that's solid.
Yeah.
And then I put them back over here, and I was like, that's some like 50 Shades of Grey shit. And I was like, I know, you ready to go to the bedroom? Like, she was like, but we don't have a bedpost. What are we going to tie it to? I was like, we got a fuck ton of zip ties.
We'll daisy chain these motherfuckers all the way over here.
So I set like 20 extra of them in my little tube with the toolkit on my bike, just in case of anything ever happens.
Dude, zip ties has saved my ass. Like when I had to take off my bumper to get to that one, I didn't have all the new fucking little the plastic
clips.
Oh
yeah.
So I saw
Zip
this
tie.
guy on zip ties, and he'd take a washer, put it on one,
Hold
feed it through, take another washer. Yep, zip it down and snip. And dude, that holds that on. I've had to use screws on that bumper because that car got fucked up.
Good thing they don't do safety anymore. Because all of that, I mean, thankfully, I know a guy who is great at passing that. I had bought a Honda Civic from a guy, and it had like, I guess he had just was redoing the whole front. So the bumper was in the back seat, brand new. The headlights were in the back seat, brand new. Horn didn't work. So I go to this guy. I've gone to him for years, and I knew him well. And I was talking to him, like, okay, I just got this. I'm trying to get it registered. I've got all this shit in the back seat. And he's like, okay, cool. You're putting that on as soon as you get home? And I'm like, yep. And he's like, all right, cool. There was definitely some zip ties in spots holding things, which other places in the past had failed one thing for safety for having one zip tie in one spot. And so
I used to use zip ties just for like cables and hoses and stuff like that.
But there was a light that one of the corners of the light mount had broken, but there was a perfect spot for a zip tie to mount through the other, and it held it perfectly. But because that corner of the mount was busted, the place had failed it, and I was like, oh, this is a pain in the ass. I don't want to replace the entire headlight. There's truly nothing wrong, and it does not move. It's not going anywhere. So then when that happened, he had just like found this guy, and he was great, and he passed it just fine. So when I had the stuff in the back seat, he was like, okay, cool. And he's like, what about the horn? He pushed the button. He's like, hey, when I push this, make a beep. And I was like, okay. He pushes, I go beep. He's like, yep, horn works. Went through, passed me off. Like,
you're gonna have to introduce me to this guy, man. He needs to be my guy too, man.
So if anyone in Utah who I trust needs help, let me know.
Yeah.
So great guy. But yeah, it's zip ties are fantastic. And with that, guys, catch you Tuesday.
Take care.